Should there be retroactive punishments for women who get abortions? Here's a clip of Parker arguing this with Charlie Kirk for context.
So pedophiles, people who were married to children in the past and normalized in that society, should they go to prison?
Should pedophiles
If you could go back in time, would you put those pedophiles in prison that married those children? Because it was normalized, they were deceived into thinking it's okay. Would you put them in prison?
You got to slow down.
Sorry.
Pedophiles should get the death penalty.
No, so you'd go back in the past, you'd give them the death penalty even though they were deceived into thinking it was okay? But you said people who get abortions who are women shouldn't go to prison.
But it's not currently illegal.
Okay, regardless.
Pedophilia
at that time it wasn't.
No, I would not go back and retroactively enforce laws where things were currently not illegal.
You wouldn't put pedophiles in prison in the past.
Even if someone believes it would be morally justified to investigate or prosecute women for obtaining abortions during a time when the procedure was legal, the U.S. legal system does not allow for such retroactive enforcement. This is because of the constitutional prohibition on ex post facto laws. An ex post facto law is one that attempts to criminalize actions after the fact, making conduct illegal after it has already occurred and punishing people for it. Both Article 1, Section 9 and Section 10 of the U.S. Constitution expressly forbid this kind of retroactive criminal legislation. Even if the law changes and abortion becomes illegal in a particular state or at the federal level, individuals who obtained abortions while it was legal cannot be prosecuted for those past actions. Retroactive prosecutions would require a constitutional amendment explicitly repealing the ex post facto clause or providing a carve-out for past abortions specifically. Even those who think it would be moral to have retroactive prosecutions probably recognize that it would be a horrible trade-off if it meant eliminating the ex post facto clause or normalizing the addition of amendments that add exceptions to it. A fair objection to my position would be to question whether or not I would support something like the Nuremberg trials, where some Nazi leaders were prosecuted for crimes against humanity, among other charges. And while I haven't done much research at all into the Nuremberg trials, my initial inclination is to support them. However, I think a key difference is that conducting the Nuremberg trials did not require eliminating constitutional protection against ex post facto laws within a country or normalizing the granting of exceptions to them. This is because the trials were not conducted by the German government, but by a collection of foreign governments. The Nuremberg trials also occurred shortly after the crimes were committed, whereas retroactive prosecutions for those involved in abortion would date back to more than 50 years ago in some cases, meaning that evidence which could exonerate some of the accused may have been lost over time. I also fear that retroactive prosecutions would lead to more economic, political, and social inaction in society as a whole, since people would fear that legal action sanctioned by their own government today may result in their prosecution by that same government tomorrow. Such negative effects dramatically outweigh any potential benefits of retroactive prosecutions for abortions. In contrast, the Nuremberg trials did not entail many of these risks, as they were conducted by foreign countries and held shortly after the crimes occurred. Even if I am somehow inconsistent for supporting the Nuremberg trials, but not retroactive prosecutions for those involved in abortion, that doesn't mean that abortion itself is moral or should remain legal.